Consent agenda. So we have the meetings from the last notes.
I read the minutes, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
All right. Motion by Bailey, seconded by Bear. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mr. Chair, I do got one item to add, and that is a private hangar discussion.
Mr. Chair. Wow, he's really sucking up today.
Mr. Chair.
And we should probably discuss that prior to the CIP.
Okay,
2630.
that would go under new business then?
Soldier 27 are out of service tonight.
Do we have to have a motion then? Or no?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And I guess that would be hangar number 99 is for sale currently. Price is $75,000. It's roughly a 42 by 45 bay with about a 36 by 12 office area. It's got a bathroom in it. It's got basically the same height doors, 12'5". And I guess as long as it's for sale, I guess we should at least discuss it for, would it make sense for us to go after a grant, and purchase it, to put a mechanic in? Chuck, maybe you can elaborate a little bit on the possibility of the grants?
Yeah, I mean, you can, we could pursue either state or federal funding for it. Obviously, from a federal perspective, we'd be several years out just based on our repayment for the new hangar that was built. It sounds like we could also put it on CIP for state funding. And I'd have to verify whether that would be 70-30 or 75-25. I know it did change now and then. The only thing is that, that's going to be sort of based on how much funding the state has. And it's, that type of thing doesn't always rank real high for funding at the state levels. So that'd be something we'd have to, we could put it on there, pursue, but we're not certainly going to be guaranteed to get state funding for it. So there also is a hangar program for a loan program for hangars that the state has, but based on past, when we've looked into that, it hasn't ended up being, it's a loan program, it's not a grant program, so that's
with all of our, can you put it nominal?
not always being the greatest deal for some of these hangars, so. So that's why if we wanted to pursue state funding, we want to get it on the CIP, because that's really what they can start prioritizing funding for the next year.
From past discussions, I think it was noted that to support a mechanic, you need at least 30 base aircraft, which at this point we will be over. Maybe John and Phil, you guys are maybe a little more experienced with this. I don't know where you go to get your annuals done, etc. Do you think our airport could now support a mechanic?
Well, good, mechanics are hard to find. John, you probably have more experience than me.
Yeah, I am pretty new to this, having just got a plane this last year, but certainly it would be handy
Sure.
to have one on the field. But
We've always done the leaders, but of course it'd be much more convenient here.
but yeah, otherwise I have no experience with.
I just don't know how hard it would be to get a qualified mechanic in here to service out. Good if we could. I just don't know what it would be like trying to attract one.
How are those funded? Just by the services or they provide? Is it like a contract type thing?
Well, leaders, of course, that's kind of a private airport almost. They're probably been 100 years, I think.
St. Cloud's runs through their FBO. The one in Alexandria is a private guy as well.
Do they get funding from the city or from the airport? I don't know either. Or they're on their own.
I can certainly poke around and ask about that at Alexandria, how that one works anyway.
Maybe I could put out a few, requests for proposals, see if anybody's interested. They could
Yeah.
throw it at us and.
Sure.
In a case like that, the city would own the building.
Under this proposal, yes, we would own the building. I guess we could look at other options too, if, you know.
Is that hangar being listed?
It will be,
Is that
I can't
John?
give me an exact date, but,
Is that Mahoney?
Who's?
Mahoney.
Okay.
he said later this fall, yes, it will be listed.
Okay.
And for that price, I don't know if it's gonna stay on the market very long.
Yeah. Right. I'm just curious if
How
it's-
full is their new hangar? Are we?
The new hangars are completely full,
It is.
and the only unit that we will have left after tomorrow, well, actually, the person signed today, is the one that we want to leave for the daily, monthly, weeklies. Other than that, everything will be full.
That's what I was gonna say, is that having a mechanic out there would probably help guarantee that our hangars will be full too.
Yeah.
So I think we could add it on to the CIP. That doesn't mean we have to do it. It's just starting the process.
Let's have it done.
So Chuck, why don't you go through the CIP then?
Okay. In your packet is a copy of sort of a draft CIP. Basically, it shows the 2019 project on there as far as the construction of the new hangar. With that, as we've talked in the past, it brought our federal entitlement balance basically down to zero, or it's at like $623 right now. And the next few years, you see in 2020, or it'll be Federal year 2021, we'll be paying back Buffalo. 2022 Aiken, and then 2023 Litchfield. So from a federal funding perspective, the next few years will be in repayment mode. Moving forward beyond that, what's on there is a partial update of the airport layout plan. As you may recall, there's some things we needed to do with the crosswind runway. It was based on some new guidelines from the FAA as well as the runway length. So we go through an ALP update process. The next bigger project is 2025. That's a pavement rehabilitation project. You can see that one's a fairly large project, and we'd have to hopefully secure federal discretionary funding to help do that one. And pavement usually ranks very high on their list for federal discretionary funding. So as we get closer, we'll want to start making sure that's the year we want to move forward with that project. Then beyond that, it gets into some parallel taxiway discussion or potential, then just some maintenance and updating the master plan several years out. And so they really like to show you going out for a long time. Really the focus is on the next 5-6 years, on the CIP. So, and we could add, if you wanted to, in federal year 2020 or 2021, add that private or purchasing that hangar onto the CIP utilizing state funding, if that's the wishes of the commission.
Do you have any idea how long that process takes?
It would be, we'd have to get it on the CIP, get it submitted, probably initiate discussions with the state to see if they were where they were at as far as being able to fund it, or if they were willing to fund it. It will take an appraisal process. Obviously, if we're buying it, we'll have to get appraisals to make sure we're paying a fair price. I know the state will want to see that. They did that when we did the land. So it's gonna take a little time. It's not going to be anything that's gonna happen in a couple of weeks.
That'd be the one concern, I guess, is if it gets listed and then gets gobbled up quickly before that has a chance to run its course.
Looking at the CIP, in 2024, we've got the crosswind runway. Yes, and runway extension. Has there ever been any thought about swapping that and a parallel taxiway, putting a parallel taxiway in there? And in my opinion, as a pilot out there, parallel taxiway from a safety standpoint is much more important than the crosswind runway.
Yeah, what that funding year 2023 item is just updating your airport layout plan. It's you know, it's something we have to do every about 10 years. That shows the ultimate configuration, you know, and what you want the airport to ultimately be. That's actually not the construction of the crosswind runway. It's more of from a planning perspective.
Well, to get to that point, I would suggest maybe swapping the road anyway to get the parallel taxiway and be able to cross the runway.
Yeah, there's nothing on the CIP right now for the actual construction of the crosswind runway.
Any downside to putting that hangar on the CIP? Can you put it on, you know, overlook it, amend it?
No, really, there's not, because we don't do it, we just next year take it off.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not committing yet to anything to put it in the CIP.
Mhm. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be nice to have. Doable.
Was that a motion, John?
I make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Barry, seconded by Thompson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Let's see, the QT pod. Not make the agenda.
Okay.
But recall, at the last meeting, we talked about the replacing the QT pod because it is outdated. We were gonna look at getting a second price, which I had called a number of different cities, and see, it was the two big companies in this business are the QT pod, which we have, and Fuel Master. And I could not get a quote from Fuel Master. So what I did, I called this Westmore. I know they're in the business also, and it's actually the exact same unit that they quoted. It's going back to the Fuel Master, Sauk Center, and I think it's Long Prairie both have them, and that's who we used to have. And they said, absolutely not, stay away from them, we've had nothing but trouble. So, and the other end, is they never got back to me. I put 3 calls in and like 4 emails to them. You know, and when you call them, they say, yeah, we'll get back to you, but they never did. So,
I visited with some pilots that happened to be coming through Painesville the other day, and they both commented about Benson and Buffalo and how nice their fuel stations were recent. And I did get in touch with the airport manager over at Buffalo, and they did the same thing. Came down to Fuel Master and QT Pod. They went with the QT Pod, and they really liked it. And they had a Fuel Master before as well.
Oh, sure. And the quote from the QT Pod, you know, they got on there that they will give us that 1995 discount yet, and I did talk to him, and he said, yes, that is still valid, they will honor it. So that would bring their price down to like $13,000. And we did some checking, and Chuck, you verified it. This project would qualify under the COVID
CARES Act.
CARES Act, correct? Under the CARES. So we can get it that paid if we so choose.
Yeah, the airport was allocated a certain amount of funds. I think there's a process to make sure you can submit it, to make sure it's approved prior to actually
Correct.
doing the purchase, you know, rather than, so you want to submit it ahead of time just to verify that they're good with you.
But at this point, I guess I would then see no reason why not to go with the QT Pod and but I guess we would need a recommendation for.
I would move to recommend to the council to authorize the QT Pod quote here, $14,295 would be less the discount then too, correct?
Correct.
And then that this would be eligible for the CARES.
Here's one, yes. Correct.
Motion by Thompson, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Bailey. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Tina, directly, Chuck?
T-hanger is pretty much complete. They're down to just a few miscellaneous punch list items that need to be completed. So, all in all, like Ron mentioned, all the hangers are full, so people are using them, and hopefully we can final that project out here the next month or two.
John, you're one of the residents in there. Anything to do good or bad about them?
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I think they are. Got a lot of compliments on them also.
Yeah.
How'd you rate to get a new one?
I don't know.
Are you finally moved into it?
Yeah, on the board or something?
I have a few things moved into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, all the old hangers, we signed the last contract this morning, so next council meeting, that'll go to them. And I believe I do have one other person, so we may end up with one person on a waiting list already.
It's a start.
Yep.
That's good.
So is our daily rental in the new hangar, or is that part of the old ones?
Our daily rental's in hangar number 6, which is in the old ones.
Okay. All right, airport flying update. Well, the air show was canceled. We've heard from 2 out of the 4 acts that are rolling the deposits over to next year.
Okay.
So right now it stands around about 1,000 bucks. But I gotta make calls to those 2 other pilots to see what they're gonna do.
Which do we have again, Tom?
The RV7
Okay.
and then the Bird Dog, the Cessna.
Okay. All the sponsors.
All the sponsors have rolled over. So, and most of the advertising. Which just gives us a little bit more time to secure some more funds and maybe get another bigger act in. We're still planning on doing an airport barbecue on the 9th of August, since we have some stuff that can't be returned. And with that, we can regulate it a little bit, you know, have less than 250 people there and they can buy their burger, support the air show, and take off. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that. I think we set a date, August 7th, 2021
So 2021.
is the 2021 air show. I think that's what we talked about at the last Friends of the Airport meeting.
Yep.
So, and the FAA has been told that, so, or they got an email about that.
August when?
August 7th.
A Saturday?
Yep, it's a Saturday. So it's gonna be the weekend before Belgrade Days or whatever.
August
Yep.
Fest, yeah.
Yep, August Fest. That's all I have on the airport flying, unless you two have.
Are you looking for volunteers yet for,
Yeah.
or?
Yep, CMCU is still gonna provide a couple volunteers. But since we're not really, you know, there's not gonna be any displays, people can fly in, get fuel, grab a burger and fly out, so I don't know how busy it's gonna be.
We're planning to have somebody help fuel up.
Yep, Harlan.
How would we do that?
Yeah, I'll be there also.
Okay. So we have. 375 days until the 2021 air show.
Good.
And we don't have a forecast for that day yet, it's too early.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You got it in the magazine already?
Yes, Clem, we'll get that in the magazine. He was out there today talking to,
Well, you could check the Farmer's Almanac for weather.
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. We can check with Tom. He's good.
So, I don't know, I think overall our response to the 2020 air show was good. I think we would have been busy.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
I think it's gonna be nice that it gives us one more year just to plan. You know, we got the big stuff done, I mean, we got the acts figured out, so,
You said Clem was out there today?
yeah.
Did you mention to him what, how can real quick?
No, I don't think I think we did mention the flying to him when we were out there talking with Al.
This morning, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we were talking about it, so
Okay, good.
he went flying, so.
Okay, anything else on that? Otherwise, the Morgan's Motorplex, I guess we did check a little bit on that, and that aerospace study would not be too complex. I guess to me, though, the biggest thing, you know, they were asking for us to shut this airport down for an entire day, possibly two. And I don't know, we're trying to build it up to bring pilots in. To me, it would almost discourage pilots.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was a good concept, I just don't think we're equipped for it right now. It'd be different if we had another non-intersecting runway or a taxiway, but we don't. And the airport's been busy on the weekends.
Well, that's just it, you know, most pilots fly on weekends, so now we're gonna take a nice weekend away from them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been fortunate this summer to have a lot of nice weekends.
Very good.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think it'd be a good idea to shut the airport down.
Nice idea, but wrong location.
Yeah. So if that's the direction, I will talk to Michael or tell him that, like you said, it's a great idea, but wrong location.
Can't we do the old Highway 23
Sure,
cul-de-sac out there?
we can do that.
Yeah. How much room do they need? That'd be in Candiac County though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's okay.
What's that?
That's okay.
Yeah. They don't have to know. There's only, what, 3 residents, or 2 residents on that strip?
That would be a good place for it.
Get some use out of that tar.
No injuries, partially blocking.
Informational.
Okay.
I don't think we have anything in there this. And we don't need a motion to adjourn because we already approved the agenda. I know we talked about it before, but with this QT pod, this is one where we can operate multiple tanks off of the one, right? If we ever do add.
We can. Like, it's up to 8.
Okay.
I don't think we'll ever get that.
Yeah.
No.
We need another fee hanger before that.
Well, we only got 7 more to go. We're fine.
Tom, getting a little sun?
A little bit. It's warm out there today.
Cars are air conditioned, but
What's that?
your vehicle's air conditioned.
I don't know. I've been outside a lot today. It's been busy today.
Good busy or bad busy?
Depends on what end you're on, I guess.
Oh.
I mean, I like it busy, but.
Okay.
Are we still doing airplane rides?
Craig and Nick are gonna be there regardless, they said.
Oh, just one airplane?
He's gonna, Craig is gonna check with the other, 2 other pilots to see if they're comfortable with the.
I'm guessing they're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
But having 2 airplanes there doing rides, I think is a good idea. That would be a good idea.
So the question is, do we want to have some masks there for people?
I think a good idea to have some there in case somebody doesn't have one. I can't imagine putting out the road. Be a good idea to have all packages.
Well, you're still gonna have airplane rides on the 9th?
Yep.
Yeah. Because per the governor's orders, that's, you can still do that.
What is the charge for that? 25 bucks or?
35.
35 per person, right?
Per person. And we were in a pre-sale, right?
Yep. Saturday.
On Saturday, August 8th, people can sign up for it out at the airport. We'll be sitting there.
I would expect to hear from Craig this week. If I don't hear from him by Wednesday, I'll bug him again.
We've got lots of them lined up.